Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and this is your weekly oracle card reading. And for this week's reading, I'm using a new deck that I just got called the Magick and Mediums Oracle by Anielle Reid. So this is actually the first time I've ever used this deck. I've looked through the deck, and I'm going to be doing an unboxing video of this deck pretty soon. But yeah, this is the first time I've used it. I just realized that my nail polish totally clashes with my background scarf. Oops, I didn't plan that very well. Okay, so I'm gonna draw 3 cards. And each card is gonna symbolize a portion of the upcoming week. Okay. So let's start with the first card. This is for Monday and Tuesday. And before I get into the reading, I just want to say, if you enjoy this video, I do these weekly forecast readings every week. So you may want to subscribe to my channel. You can just click on the little red button in the bottom right-hand corner of this video. Okay, so for Monday and Tuesday, we have higher self. This is a clear message that at the beginning of the week, you want to take a moment to connect with the part of yourself that is what I like to think of as like the eternal part of yourself, the part of you that is eternal, that is wise and is kind of like above your personality self. Because I think that there's like part of you that is, a personality, and you can get so wrapped up in kind of the day-to-day aspects of life, and you can kind of get caught up in things, and you start to forget that you are basically a soul that lives forever and that can have all kinds of experiences. And you start to think of yourself as just sort of your day-to-day personality self. And sometimes that can make us feel disconnected from things. And so this card is telling you to reach out and get in touch with that deeper aspect of yourself and start seeing yourself more as a soul who's just having this human experience right now. And sometimes that helps you put things in perspective, and it can help you feel less anxious, and it can help you kind of detach from the day-to-day drama in a healthy kind of way. So beginning of the week, a good time to connect with your higher self. Now, how do you connect with your higher self? Because I think everyone has different ways of doing this. So how I do it is I love to simply sit with a notebook and a pen and just kind of let my mind get quiet. And I let my center of being, which often is sort of my head, I'm usually kind of in my head, I let that center of awareness drop down into kind of my chest, solar plexus kind of area, kind of like the center of my body. And I just sort of sit there in silence for a few moments, and then whatever comes to mind, whatever insights come up, whatever feelings come up, I will jot them down. And sometimes I get really great stuff, sometimes I don't get anything at all, but that is one way that I feel like I'm connecting with my higher self. I also like to picture my higher self as like another person who looks slightly different than me. And sometimes I'll do like meditative journeys, like shamanic journeying to meet my higher self, where I actually do like a in-depth kind of meditative journey and visualization where I meet my higher self somewhere and have a conversation. But there's other ways to do it as well. That's just how I like to do it. Okay, so let's move on to the middle of the week, Wednesday and Thursday. Here we have moon magic. I love it. So we just had a full moon. I'm actually making this video on a Friday, and I think it was a full moon last night, which was Thursday, or maybe it was the night before, I can't remember. So the moon is now starting to wane. And the wonderful thing about moon magic is that you connect with the phases of the moon, And you work with those phases so that, when the moon is waning, like it is now, this is a time to banish things, to think, what do I want to let go of? What do I want to release? What do I want to banish from my life? And when the moon is, starting to become full, when it's waxing, that's a time for manifestation and to draw things to you. And the full moon is like the height of the energies. It's like ovulation. It's like everything, is coming to a peak. And that's also a really great time for manifestation. But also quite often a lot of big things will come up for us, like emotionally, during a full moon. And it's like the things that we've maybe managed to keep repressed or keep in check can sometimes come to the surface during a full moon. And so some of you may still be kind of dealing with that now, some of the things that came up in the last full moon. But Moon Magic is just a reminder, basically, to get in touch with the cycles of the earth, the cycles of the moon, but also the cycles of you, of your body and your life. And remembering that life is cyclical. Like, things aren't just always the same all the time. Things go on like a cycle, like the moon. So there's a time when the energies are dissipating, and there's a time for letting go. There's a time when the energies are building, and that's a time to, manifest things and work on projects. And, there's times when the moon is full, and when that's like a really exciting high energy time, you're going to be more social, more outgoing. And then when the moon is dark, that's when you go within. So I think this is just a reminder to pay attention to the cycles of the moon and your life, and see if you can get more deeply in touch with those cycles. So moving on to the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Here we have attraction. This is lovely. This is an exciting card. Okay, I'm just going to look a little bit more closely at it. It almost looks like the two figures on this card are holding, I was going to say holding a snake, but I see now that it's two magnets that have come together. Okay. So this weekend, at the end of the week, pay attention to what you are attracted to, what you feel drawn to, and also what is drawn to you. Do you seem to attract a certain type of person or certain types of friends? Do you tend to attract certain experiences? Just start to pay attention to what it is that you're attracting. And at the same time, what you feel drawn to, what you feel attracted to. So oftentimes we are drawn to, I'm trying to think how to word this. Oftentimes what is going on within us, whether we're aware of it or not aware of it, will have a huge influence on what kinds of things and what kinds of people and what kinds of energies we're going to be attracted to, and also, what kinds of people and energies are going to be drawn to us at the same time. And I'm just trying to think what else I want to say about that. I'm at a loss for words. Okay, I'm going to come back to this one. I went to look at all the cards together. And what I'm looking for is if I'm seeing any repeating themes. And I do see a theme of the moon. So there's a full moon in this card, or maybe it's definitely a moon. There's that crescent moon. And then these two magnets are two sort of moon shapes, I think, coming together. Yeah, I just love the artwork on these cards. I just want to gaze at them a little bit longer. I feel like, what's really interesting here is that we start out with the higher self. So we start the beginning of the week on this kind of high spiritual note about, connecting to that more divine aspect of yourself. I think this is about really recognizing the divinity within yourself, recognizing that part of yourself. And then as you move through the week, it's about recognizing the cycles in life and attuning to those cycles and attuning to that energy. Because if you, for example, if the energies in your life and everything are kind of pushing you towards being more introverted and quiet and still, and yet you're trying to push yourself to create and to be busy and to achieve things, you're going to feel drained, and you may not be as successful if you were just to take a break, go within, give yourself that time, and then focus on the creativity and the productivity at a different time. So this is about first attuning to your higher self, first attuning to that part of yourself, then attuning to the cycles of nature and the cycles of the planet and your life. And then as we get to the weekend, it's this attraction card. So I actually feel I do get a very intense sexual energy with this card as well. And it kind of feels like when you do the inner work, you really start to attract better things and better people into your life. And it feels exciting. It feels like this weekend has a potential to be could be a very sexual weekend. It could be just a very exciting weekend. It could also just be a passionate weekend, and not necessarily in a sexual way, but you might be doing things that you feel passionate about and excited about. It doesn't have to be a sexy thing, but I see there's potential for that. Okay, so this has been your weekly oracle card reading. So I always invite you to add your own 2 cents. So is there something that you're noticing with these cards? Is there something that you want to add to what I said? If so, please feel free to do it in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely week.